10 Reasons Why Enlightened People Will Come Back by David Russo. Chapter 1. The Call of Compassion. Enlightenment is often pictured as a solitary summit, a quiet, inner illumination that separates those who have awakened from the noisy, chaotic world below. Yet, paradoxically, one of the most defining qualities of truly enlightened individuals is not detachment, but a profound engagement with the suffering of others. Compassion is their compass, and it is this unshakable empathy that calls them back, time and again, into the midst of humanity. To understand why, we must first grasp the depth of their awareness. Enlightened people see clearly the subtle and obvious forms of human suffering, the loneliness, the fear, the relentless struggles that define existence. They feel these pains not as abstract ideas, but as real, pressing truths that resonate within them. This awareness is not burdensome, it is catalytic. It sparks a natural desire to act, to serve, and to alleviate suffering wherever they can. Compassion, in this sense, becomes a form of responsibility, a responsibility born of love, not obligation. Their return manifests in many forms. Some reappear as teachers, guiding others through the darkness of confusion. Others emerge as healers, offering solace through touch, presence, or words that resonate with clarity and calm. Still others return quietly, their influence subtle, woven into communities, projects, or movements that may seem ordinary on the surface but carry extraordinary energy beneath. What unites these forms is the intention, a sincere desire to uplift, to offer a hand to those navigating the storms of life. Compassion also functions as a bridge between understanding and action. Enlightened individuals comprehend suffering at a level that transcends intellectual empathy. They feel it in their very being. And when you feel suffering that profoundly, it is almost impossible to turn away. Their return, therefore, is less about self-interest or ego and more about the natural flow of love and motion. They come back not to be revered, but to participate, to stand shoulder to shoulder with others in the shared experience of life. Moreover, their presence serves as a mirror. When people encounter someone deeply compassionate, they are often inspired to awaken their own capacity for empathy. This ripple effect spreads quietly but powerfully. A single act of authentic kindness or a single moment of patient listening can awaken seeds of understanding and care in others, creating circles of influence that grow far beyond the initial interaction. In this way, enlightened people return not just to experience life themselves, but to catalyze a greater collective evolution. In essence, the call of compassion is irresistible. It is a force that pulls enlightened souls back into the human story, reminding them that true awakening is not an escape from the world, but a deeper immersion into it. Their return embodies a paradoxical truth, that ultimate wisdom and highest love are inseparable, and that those who have glimpsed the highest states of being often dedicate themselves most fully to the welfare of others. Compassion, then, is more than a virtue. It is a cosmic invitation. It beckons enlightened individuals into action, into community, into service. It is the first reason they return, because to know suffering so deeply is also to know that it can be eased. And in their return, humanity is reminded that the highest calling is not to rise above the world, but to rise with it, carrying others along on the journey toward greater awareness and love. Chapter 2. The Cycle of Human Evolution. History, at its surface, often appears as a series of random events, wars, discoveries, rises and falls of civilizations. But when observed from a broader, more conscious perspective, patterns begin to emerge. Humanity evolves not in a straight line, but in cycles. Periods of expansion, enlightenment, and moral clarity are followed by times of confusion, decay, and stagnation. It is in these pivotal moments, when society teeters between collapse and renewal, that enlightened individuals often reappear. Their return is not accidental. It is part of the rhythm of collective evolution. These cycles are as natural as the seasons. Just as winter gives way to spring, moments of darkness and chaos inevitably invite the emergence of light and clarity. When humanity enters a period of moral or spiritual decline, when greed, fear, and division overshadow understanding and compassion, there is a natural call for wisdom to re-enter the world. Enlightened individuals respond to this call. They come not as saviors, imposing their knowledge, but as catalysts, guiding society back toward balance and harmony. Their presence realigns the collective consciousness, providing direction when the path seems uncertain. One of the most remarkable aspects of this process is how consistent it is across cultures and eras. Civilizations separated by continents and centuries experience remarkably similar patterns: periods of innovation and insight, followed by periods of ignorance or exploitation. And in each turning point, figures emerge who embody the wisdom needed for the times. These individuals may take different forms: philosophers, spiritual teachers, scientists, or artists, but their underlying role is the same: to help humanity navigate the transitional space between confusion and clarity. This cyclical view challenges the conventional notion that progress is linear. Technological advancement, for example, may soar while ethical understanding lags behind, producing moments of imbalance. Similarly, spiritual knowledge may blossom in one era, only to be forgotten or ignored in the next. Enlightened people return to bridge these gaps, reminding humanity that true evolution encompasses both external innovation and inner growth. They help humanity remember that moral and spiritual development are as critical as material progress. Their return is not merely corrective, it is generative. By appearing at key moments in history, enlightened individuals plant the seeds for the next phase of collective evolution. Their ideas, their presence, and even their subtle actions ripple through society, influencing thought, culture, and behavior in ways that may not be immediately visible but shape the trajectory of human development over decades, centuries, or even millennia. In essence, the cycle of human evolution is a dance between chaos and consciousness, and enlightened people act as choreographers, gently guiding the movements of society. They re-emerge when the world most needs them, not because they are bound by destiny alone, but because the fabric of collective awareness calls them back. They are the bridge between what humanity is and what it can become, a reminder that evolution is not a solitary journey, but a shared, unfolding process. Understanding this cycle offers both comfort and insight. It reassures us that periods of confusion are temporary, that darkness naturally invites the return of light, and that the wisdom we need is never truly absent. Enlightened individuals return not to rewrite history, but to help humanity remember its potential, to awaken our capacity to evolve consciously, collectively, and compassionately. Chapter 3: Guidance Beyond the Self. Enlightened individuals often experience a profound shift in perspective. The boundaries of the self, what feels personal, private, or separate, begin to dissolve. They see themselves as part of a larger whole, an interconnected web of life in which every action and thought resonates beyond their individual existence. This expanded awareness naturally compels them to return, not to dominate or instruct, but to guide. Their guidance is not authoritarian. It is subtle, compassionate, and deeply relational. When someone reaches this level of understanding, they recognize that wisdom is not meant to be hoarded. Knowledge, insight, and clarity are gifts meant to be shared, not wielded as power. Enlightened individuals step into communities, conversations, and situations where their presence can illuminate the path for others. They may appear as teachers, healers, artists, or quiet influencers, roles that allow them to move alongside humanity rather than above it. Their aim is not to control, but to support the unfolding of potential in others. This guidance is rooted in example as much as instruction. An enlightened person does not simply tell others what to do. They demonstrate what is possible through the way they live, the choices they make, and the calm, centered energy they exude. Presence becomes a form of teaching. A single conversation, a gentle act of compassion, or even a moment of quiet awareness can spark insight in someone else, planting seeds that may grow into profound transformation over time. The motivation behind this return is also important to understand. Enlightened beings are not driven by ego or a desire for recognition. Their call to guide arises from the recognition that each individual's awakening contributes to the collective evolution of humanity. They see beyond immediate appearances and understand the ripple effect of their influence. By helping others awaken to their own potential, They create a chain reaction of awareness that extends far beyond what any single person could achieve alone. Returning to guide is also an act of humility. Enlightened individuals do not claim to have all the answers. They understand the vastness of existence, the complexity of life, and the limitations inherent in human understanding. Their role is to illuminate possibilities, not dictate outcomes. They offer frameworks, insights, and encouragement, trusting that each person must integrate wisdom in their own way, at their own pace. Guidance, in this sense, is less about instruction and more about facilitation, creating conditions where growth, understanding, and compassion can flourish naturally. In essence, guidance beyond the self is an expression of interconnection. Enlightened people return because they recognize that their awakening is inseparable from the world around them. They come back not to lead from above, but to walk among others, offering support, insight, and inspiration. In doing so, they remind humanity that wisdom is not an abstract concept or a solitary achievement, but a living, relational process. This chapter is a call to observe the subtle ways in which enlightened individuals guide the world, through words, presence, and actions. Their return is a testament to the principle that no one evolves in isolation. True awakening recognizes the importance of connection, and those who achieve it often feel an irresistible pull to help others awaken as well. Guidance beyond the self is both a gift and a responsibility, a bridge between the wisdom of the few and the potential of the many. Chapter 4: The Ripple Effect of Awakening. Enlightenment is often imagined as a solitary achievement, a state of inner peace and understanding that exists within the individual. But in truth, awakening is rarely contained. Like a pebble dropped into still water, the energy and presence of an enlightened person spreads outward, creating ripples that touch far beyond the immediate sphere of influence. This ripple effect is subtle, yet profound, and it is one of the central reasons why enlightened individuals return to the world. Even a single awakened person can shift the energy of an entire group. Their calm, clarity, and compassion are contagious. People are drawn to them, sometimes without even realizing why. Conversations change tone, conflicts de-escalate, hearts open. These effects are rarely dramatic or intentional. They do not require speeches, teachings, or public recognition. Presence alone carries power. By simply existing in alignment with higher awareness, enlightened individuals create conditions in which others can awaken naturally. This ripple effect functions on multiple levels. On a personal scale, someone may encounter an enlightened individual and experience a moment of insight, a sudden clarity, a new perspective, a deep sense of connection. On a communal level, their influence can inspire cooperation, creativity, and empathy, shaping the culture of workplaces, neighborhoods, or social circles. Over time, these waves extend even further, affecting communities, organizations, and sometimes entire societies. The impact may be subtle at first, almost imperceptible, but it grows steadily, reaching far beyond what anyone might predict. The reason for this phenomenon lies in human consciousness itself. We are highly attuned to energy, whether we recognize it or not. Authenticity, calm, and clarity resonate at a level beyond words. When someone embodies these qualities fully, it challenges others to question their own assumptions, beliefs, and behaviors. People begin to mirror the presence of the awakened individual, unconsciously adopting more thoughtful, compassionate, and aware patterns. This is the ripple effect in action, a gentle but powerful transmission of consciousness that spreads without coercion, without judgment, without force. Enlightened individuals often return to amplify this effect at critical moments in history or society. They sense where collective consciousness is stagnant, confused, or burdened by fear. They insert themselves, not as leaders in the traditional sense, but as catalysts, so that awareness can flow more freely. Their influence may take the form of mentorship, creative expression, activism rooted in wisdom, or simply living with integrity in a visible way. Each act, no matter how small, contributes to a broader awakening. Importantly, this ripple effect emphasizes the interconnectedness of humanity. No one awakens in isolation. Every shift in awareness carries potential consequences for countless others, and enlightened individuals recognize this truth. Their return is a recognition that their personal growth is inseparable from the evolution of the collective. In helping others awaken, even in subtle, quiet ways, they accelerate the unfolding of consciousness, planting seeds that may blossom generations later. Ultimately, the ripple effect reminds us that awakening is both personal and relational. Enlightened people return not only to experience life fully themselves, but to extend the possibility of higher awareness to others. They demonstrate, gently and persistently, that the energy of a single individual can influence the trajectory of many. Through their presence, compassion, and example, they create waves of transformation that continue long after their immediate interactions, proving that true awakening is never solitary. It spreads, it inspires, and it builds the foundation for a more conscious, compassionate world. Chapter 5. The Hunger for Meaning in a Chaotic World. Humanity has always sought meaning. Across cultures, centuries, and civilizations, people have asked the same fundamental questions. Why am I here? What is my purpose? How do I live with integrity and clarity amid uncertainty? These questions become especially urgent during times of chaos, when the familiar structures of society, relationships, or personal stability falter. It is precisely in these moments of collective uncertainty that enlightened individuals feel the pull to return, because humanity becomes more receptive to guidance, clarity, and insight. Chaos has a way of stirring the soul. Economic collapse, social unrest, political instability, or personal upheaval all challenge the sense of order we rely on to navigate life. When the world feels unpredictable or threatening, people crave grounding, not only in practical terms, but in moral and spiritual dimensions. They seek wisdom that can anchor them, guidance that reassures them, and perspectives that illuminate the path forward. Enlightened individuals respond to this hunger. They come back not to impose answers, but to offer clarity, perspective, and presence in a world that desperately needs it. This return is often intuitive. Enlightened people sense the collective energy of confusion, anxiety, or fear, and they recognize the opportunity to bring calm and insight. Their presence provides what cannot be supplied by institutions, rules, or external systems alone: a sense of inner stability, moral orientation, and a reminder that life has meaning beyond immediate circumstances. They meet people where they are, offering understanding rather than judgment, and creating the conditions for deeper reflection, awareness, and transformation. Importantly, the hunger for meaning is universal. Whether it manifests as spiritual longing, creative exploration, or philosophical inquiry, it reflects the human desire to connect with something greater than the self. Enlightened individuals answer this call by modeling a life of purpose and alignment, demonstrating that clarity and peace are possible even amid turbulence. Their influence may appear in quiet moments: a conversation that shifts perspective, a work of art that evokes insight, or a simple act of integrity that inspires others. Even these small contributions resonate widely, because meaning is contagious. When one person finds their center, they invite others to seek theirs. The return of enlightened individuals in chaotic times also reminds humanity of resilience and adaptability. Life's unpredictability is inevitable, but awakening teaches that meaning is not dependent on external stability. It is cultivated within. By embodying this truth, enlightened people help others navigate crisis with courage and discernment. They show that chaos, while disorienting, can also be an opportunity, a doorway to growth, reflection, and deeper understanding. In essence, the hunger for meaning in a chaotic world acts as both a signal and a calling. Enlightened beings sense the readiness of collective consciousness to receive wisdom, and they respond. Their presence reassures, illuminates, and inspires, offering a compass when traditional markers of certainty falter. By returning in times of uncertainty, they not only address the immediate hunger for guidance, but also plant seeds of long-term awareness, resilience, and purpose. Ultimately, this chapter reminds us that chaos is never just disorder. It is fertile ground for awakening. Enlightened individuals return to help humanity navigate these periods, guiding us toward clarity, meaning, and a deeper connection with life itself. In meeting the collective hunger for purpose, they demonstrate that true wisdom is not static or isolated. It flows outward, nourishes, and transforms, creating a world where understanding and compassion can flourish even in the midst of uncertainty. Chapter 6. Breaking the Patterns of Destruction. Humanity has a tendency to repeat itself. Throughout history, we see the same cycles: conflict, greed, exploitation, division. Societies rise and fall, often making the same mistakes, seemingly unable to learn from the past. These patterns are not inevitable, they are habits of consciousness. And it is precisely in these moments, when destructive cycles threaten to continue unchecked, that enlightened individuals feel the call to return. Their presence interrupts these patterns, offering alternatives that are informed by wisdom, compassion, and foresight. Breaking destructive cycles is not about control or judgment. Enlightened beings do not seek to dominate or dictate. Rather, they serve as catalysts, introducing new possibilities that others may choose to follow. They embody alternatives to fear, violence, and scarcity, showing that different choices are possible. By doing so, they disrupt the automatic repetition of harmful behaviors, creating a pause in which transformation can take root. Their intervention may be subtle, an idea, a conversation, or a model of ethical living. Or it may be more visible, a movement, invention, or reform that shifts societal momentum. One of the most powerful aspects of their return is timing. Enlightened individuals often appear at critical junctures, moments when destructive patterns are on the verge of repeating themselves and the collective consciousness is ready for a shift. They sense the energy of stagnation and imbalance, and they respond not out of obligation, but because their insight compels action. Their awareness allows them to recognize both the underlying causes of destructive behavior and the potential pathways toward a healthier, more balanced future. This work of disruption is as much internal as it is external. Societies are made of individuals, and individual habits often reflect collective patterns. Enlightened people help others recognize the unconscious drives behind destructive choices, fear, attachment, ignorance, and provide tools for transformation. Through teaching, example, and presence, they show that lasting change begins within. As individuals evolve, the patterns that govern societies also shift. This ripple effect can alter communities, economies, and cultures over time, creating space for innovation, harmony, and growth. Breaking cycles of destruction also requires courage and patience. Resistance is natural. Humans are creatures of habit, and habits are difficult to change. Enlightened individuals understand this reality. They work gently, persistently, and strategically, knowing that even small shifts in awareness can ultimately prevent enormous harm. Their interventions often appear incremental, but over time, they accumulate into profound transformation. Each conscious choice, each act of integrity, each moment of clarity contributes to a larger movement toward healing and balance. Ultimately, the return of enlightened individuals in moments of repeated destruction is a testament to the power of consciousness. They demonstrate that while patterns of harm may be deeply entrenched, they are never immutable. Change is always possible, especially when guided by insight, compassion, and intention. By intervening at critical moments, enlightened people help humanity break free from its destructive loops and step onto a path that honors life, connection, and collective growth. In this way, enlightenment is not a private achievement but a public gift. Its purpose extends beyond personal peace to the evolution of society itself. When destructive patterns threaten to define human experience, enlightened individuals return to illuminate the path out, reminding us that we are capable of change, capable of growth, and capable of creating a world guided by wisdom, integrity, and conscious choice. Chapter 7. The Power of Presence. There is a quality in certain people that cannot be taught, cannot be measured, and cannot be replicated. It is the quiet yet undeniable energy of someone fully aligned with themselves and the world around them. This is the power of presence, the ability to affect environments, relationships, and even societies simply by being. For enlightened individuals, presence is not a performance or a tool. It is a natural byproduct of their inner clarity, compassion, and understanding. And it is one of the most profound reasons they return to humanity. Presence operates on a subtle but potent level. It does not rely on words, arguments, or persuasion. Instead, it communicates through energy, emotion, and resonance. When an enlightened person enters a space, tensions can dissolve, perspectives can shift, and hearts can open. People instinctively respond to authenticity, calm, and integrity, often without realizing why. This is why the influence of enlightened individuals is so powerful. It spreads quietly, organically, and deeply. The transformative nature of presence lies in its simplicity. Unlike traditional forms of guidance or instruction, presence does not require effort or overt action. A conversation with someone fully awake, a moment spent in their company, or even the knowledge that they are nearby can catalyze insight and growth. Presence models a way of being that others can emulate. It demonstrates that clarity, compassion, and centeredness are possible, even in a world that often seems chaotic or hostile. Moreover, presence carries a stabilizing effect. In groups, organizations, or communities, the energy of an enlightened person can harmonize discord, reduce conflict, and inspire cooperation. Their calm awareness offers a mirror for others, revealing the potential for peace and clarity within themselves. This effect is subtle but cumulative. Over time, it reshapes dynamics, fostering environments where understanding, collaboration, and conscious decision-making become more natural. Presence also acts as a bridge between insight and action. When people encounter someone fully present, they are more likely to listen deeply, reflect honestly, and make choices aligned with higher principles. Enlightened individuals do not need to tell others what to do. Their energy itself communicates what is possible. This is why the power of presence is so enduring. It is internalized by those who experience it, often long after the encounter has ended. Returning to the world to embody presence is, in many ways, a gift of profound generosity. It demonstrates that enlightenment is not about withdrawing from life, but engaging fully with it in a way that uplifts, inspires, and transforms. Presence allows others to feel seen, understood, and supported without the weight of expectation or instruction. It is a living demonstration of what it means to be awake, grounded, compassionate, and wholly connected to the flow of life. Ultimately, the power of presence reminds us that transformation often begins not with action or doctrine, but with being. Enlightened people return because their energy, calm, clear, compassionate, can awaken the dormant potential in others. Their mere existence in shared space creates conditions for insight, growth, and harmony. Through presence, they model a higher way of being, showing humanity that the path to awakening is not only a journey of thought, but a journey of embodied consciousness, experienced in the quiet, powerful resonance of simply being fully, authentically alive. Chapter 8: The Evolution of Technology and Connection. From the dawn of human expression, people have sought ways to connect, communicate, and preserve meaning. Cave art, spoken storytelling, written language, the printing press, and mass media each mark turning points in how ideas traveled and how societies understood themselves. With every advancement, the reach of human thought expanded. Today, we stand within the most interconnected era humanity has ever known. Messages move instantly, voices cross borders effortlessly, and communities arise without regard to physical distance. For enlightened individuals, this moment in history represents far more than convenience. It represents a calling. Modern technology enables insight to travel faster and farther than at any other time. A single perspective, shared through digital channels, can spark reflection and transformation across vast populations. Where wisdom was once confined to small groups or personal encounters, it now has the potential to circulate globally. This does not alter the nature of awakening itself, but it magnifies its influence. Enlightened individuals are no longer limited by geography. They can participate in humanity's evolution on a collective scale previously unimaginable. Equally important, technology reshapes how connection itself is experienced. Those who return with awareness do so not only to offer guidance, but to observe, engage, and listen. Online spaces reveal the emotional pulse of humanity, its anxieties, aspirations, conflicts, and yearnings in real time. Through digital communities and shared platforms, enlightened individuals can sense where healing is needed and where understanding is lacking. Their presence in these spaces can soften divisions, encourage empathy, and help weave networks of shared consciousness that transcend traditional boundaries. Yet this expanded reach comes with complexity. The same tools that spread insight can also magnify confusion, fear, and polarization. Information overload, distortion, and distraction are constant challenges of the digital world. This tension is precisely why enlightened individuals are often drawn to return during such periods. Their steadiness offers contrast to the turbulence of constant stimulation. They remind others that genuine connection is not measured by speed, visibility, or volume, but by sincerity, depth, and conscious intention. The growth of technology mirrors the expansion of human awareness itself. As our tools become more powerful, so does our potential for collaboration, creativity, and shared understanding. Enlightened individuals recognize that humanity now possesses the means to think, feel, and act together on an unprecedented level, if guided wisely. Their return is both a response to possibility and to responsibility, a desire to help humanity navigate this dense web of interconnection with discernment, compassion, and clarity. At its core, the digital age is not merely about efficiency or access. It is about the rapid evolution of consciousness. Enlightened individuals return because humanity finally has the structures capable of carrying wisdom at scale. They enter the spaces where people already gather: online platforms, media channels, and virtual communities, meeting humanity exactly where it is. In doing so, they demonstrate that technology itself is not inherently beneficial or harmful. It reflects the awareness of those who wield it. Seen this way, connection becomes both a test and a gift. Enlightened individuals engage with technological evolution not for recognition or influence, but to deepen understanding and widen the reach of awakening. They show that even amid constant information and distraction, authentic presence still has the power to resonate. Through clarity, compassion, and intentional use of technology, they help illuminate a path toward a more conscious, unified, and awakened world. Chapter 9: Enlightenment as a Journey, Not a Destination. Many people picture enlightenment as a final milestone, a peak of awareness where all questions dissolve and nothing further remains to be discovered. From this view, awakening appears fixed and complete. Yet those who truly embody enlightenment understand something very different. Awakening is not a static state, but an ever-unfolding process. It is a path that continues to reveal itself, not a place where movement ends. This understanding lies at the heart of why enlightened individuals return again and again, because growth does not cease, even at the highest levels of awareness. Those who are awakened recognize that every moment carries the potential for deeper understanding. Each experience, relationship, and challenge offers new insight. Enlightenment is not about withdrawing from the world, avoiding difficulty, or existing in permanent tranquility. Instead, it is about meeting life directly, perceiving reality with clarity, responding with compassion, and refining one's presence through lived experience. This dynamic engagement draws enlightened individuals back into the world, where teaching, learning, and service continue to shape their awareness alongside others. Awakening unfolds in cycles. Even those who have reached profound realizations see that their wisdom can mature further, their empathy can widen, and their actions can become more skillful. By returning, they encounter unfamiliar circumstances, evolving cultures, and fresh perspectives that challenge and expand their understanding. In doing so, they embody a vital truth. Enlightenment is not a finish line, but a continuous deepening of consciousness. Re-entering the world also allows for integration. Insight gained through contemplation finds meaning through interaction. Dialogue, community, and shared struggle offer lessons that solitude alone cannot provide. By engaging with humanity, witnessing pain, resilience, confusion, and joy, enlightened individuals refine their understanding and contribute to the collective growth of awareness. Each exchange becomes another step along an endless path of learning. This view reshapes how enlightened individuals are perceived. Rather than distant figures elevated above ordinary life, They are seen as fellow travelers who demonstrate that growth never stops. Their presence reminds others that awakening is not reserved for a select few, nor is it a final state to be achieved. It is a lifelong commitment to awareness, compassion, and responsibility, shaped through participation in the world. Seeing enlightenment as a journey also releases the burden of perfection. It allows room for missteps, humility, and evolution. It affirms that learning is continuous and that personal growth contributes to the broader expansion of human consciousness. Each individual's development becomes part of a shared movement toward greater understanding. In this sense, the return of enlightened beings reflects the nature of awakening itself. They step back into lives, communities, and conversations not because their work is finished, but because discovery never ends. There is always more to understand, more to offer, and more to learn. Enlightenment, then, is not a conclusion. It is an open invitation to participate fully in life, to grow without limit, and to walk together on an ever-deepening journey of transformation. Chapter 10. The Promise of a New Humanity. If there is one reason above all others why enlightened individuals return, it is the vision of what humanity can become. Their presence is not only about guidance, compassion, or intervention in moments of crisis. It is about contributing to the unfolding of a new consciousness, a more awakened, connected, and compassionate world. This promise of a new humanity is the culmination of all the previous reasons: compassion, cyclical evolution, guidance, presence, and the ripple effect. Together, these qualities illuminate a path toward transformation, both personal and collective. The promise of a new humanity begins with the understanding that change is possible. History shows us that societies can evolve, moral consciousness can expand, and communities can embrace higher principles. Enlightened individuals serve as both catalysts and models for this evolution. By embodying clarity, integrity, and compassion, they demonstrate the potential of humanity at its best. They remind us that transformation is not a distant dream, but a living possibility within our reach. This transformation is not imposed externally. It grows organically from awareness. Enlightened people return not to enforce rules or ideals, but to activate the potential already present within individuals and communities. Their guidance, presence, and example plant seeds of understanding and inspiration, which, over time, can blossom into cultural shifts, innovations, and movements that reflect higher values. Each interaction, each act of kindness or insight, becomes part of a larger mosaic of change. The promise of a new humanity is also deeply relational. It recognizes that awakening is never a solitary journey. Every individual's growth contributes to the collective evolution of consciousness. Enlightened individuals understand this interconnection and, through their return, foster environments in which others can awaken, collaborate, and expand. Their influence multiplies, creating networks of awareness, empathy, and creativity that ripple outward, touching countless lives and shaping society in subtle yet profound ways. Importantly, this promise is grounded in service. Enlightened people return not for personal gain, recognition, or comfort, but to contribute to something greater than themselves. Their presence challenges humanity to rise to its potential, not through fear, obligation, or coercion, but through inspiration, example, and possibility. They illuminate pathways that honor unity, balance, and wisdom, offering a blueprint for living that integrates compassion with insight, action with understanding. Ultimately, the promise of a new humanity is hope in motion. It reassures us that our collective story is not predetermined by conflict, greed, or ignorance, but can be shaped by conscious choice and compassionate action. Enlightened individuals return to remind us of our capacity to evolve, to awaken, and to co-create a world that reflects the highest aspects of human potential. Their return is both a gift and a call, a gift of presence, wisdom, and guidance, and a call for humanity to embrace its own capacity for transformation. In this light, the journey of awakening is inseparable from the destiny of humanity itself. Each enlightened individual who returns contributes to a growing tapestry of consciousness, weaving threads of understanding, love, and clarity into the collective story. They inspire, guide, and catalyze change, showing us that a new humanity is not only possible, it is emerging moment by moment in the hearts, minds, and actions of those willing to awaken, serve, and evolve together.